take note of it, write it down, snap pictures, etc. But most importantly, please join me in welcoming my friend and Laveau alum, Mike Lupa.
What's going on, everyone? I wrote down what differentiates us. That's what David said, right? And I think a nice bridge into what's the topic of today, which is relationship building. And yes, I intentionally crossed out networking because of the problems that I'll share on the next slide. I think if we change our mindset from networking, this traditional definition, to building relationships, it starts to ease the pressure, ease our minds. And when we build better relationships, better connections, you'd be shocked at what can come to you as a result of that. I'm excited to talk to you guys today. What comes to your mind when you hear the word networking? I'll start with you guys because I appreciate your front row.
Interacting with like employers or people, recruiters who are recruiting you to work at their companies, and in like whether that's talking to them, whether that's following them on LinkedIn, whether that's attending a job fair, or sending your resume to them, or getting an informative interview. That's what I consider networking.
That's good. I like that a lot. Anyone else? Let me actually change up the question because he did such a good job. What was your name?
Luke.
Luke?
Yeah.
Great job. How about this? Like there's an event tonight. Why would anyone feel a little nervous, a little bit uncomfortable, which is the most normal thing ever when it comes to going to a networking event? But why would you feel that? Why might you feel that? Let's just normalize it.
I guess there's like a sense of formality towards it. So with that environment formality, there's a set of expectations you're supposed to have. Like you can't be very casual because there's so many high networking. Like they don't have time to like have like a 20-minute chat. Like there's like such a short amount of time to like interact with these people. So you really have to make a big impact in these conversations.
Well, she clearly saw my presentation beforehand. I don't appreciate that. She's on the money, guys. First off, no one teaches you how to do it. And again, David's a busy man. He came in, you hear this probably a lot, you'll continue to hear this. Go to the networking event, okay? Then what? And I feel like I'm so glad that I get to play a role in the then what, the how to do it. No one teaches you how. It's like taxes. You have to do it for the rest of your life, but there's never really a course on how to do it. You might say, well, what do you mean networking? Why are you saying that I need to do it forever? Well, guess how many jobs the average person will hold from graduation until retirement on average? Most up-to-date data set on this. 2 guesses. Let's go someone in the back. I know you're active, Luke. I know you got the right answer. Someone in the back. Let's get a hand. What's your name?
Zach.
6. Someone from this side.
I was going to say like 4.
4. The answer is 12. The answer is 12. So if you're going to, throughout a 30, 40-year career, move from role to role every handful of years, hopefully you do stay for 40 years. It's just not the norm anymore. Building these relationships like the ones that we're starting in this classroom are that much more important. And what was your name?
Maddie.
Maddie. Well, Maddie saw the slide deck beforehand and she saw that second bullet that talks about the formality. Suit and tie, let's go. I'm going to the networking event. I got my business cards. What does that do? That creates this pressure on doing something, getting something. The mindset shift that if the power went out now, if the class had to end now, and I just wanted you to take away really one thing and try to embrace it over the next half a decade, which is about how long you guys, most of you will be here. It's that networking, it's not about the quantity of business cards collected, but the quality of the connections made. Who's heard this phrase? It's all about who you know. Somebody, center, middle center. Let's get, what does that mean? Somebody in the middle of the middle section here. What does that mean? It's all about who you know.
Ultimately, when you're going to get a job, a lot of people get hired because they got referred by someone that they know.
And I'll show you the data on that on the next slide. That's absolutely true. Okay. The problem I have with this logic, which is, this gets talked about all the time, is that like you guys, you know me now, but where's the fault here? You guys know me, but what?
You don't know us.
I don't know you. I like you guys more because you're in the front row, but I don't know you yet. I know that your name is Luke. What's your name?
Arian.
Ari?
Arian.
Arian?
Yeah.
I kind of know you now. So I've evolved that over time to be, it's all about, right? Who knows you? First off, is that registering, guys? So stop saying it's all about who you know. It's all about who knows you. And then I spent 10 years in sales while also getting really, really, really good at the job search process itself, landing some of the most competitive jobs in the world. And I drew parallels between the two. The same principles that earn a sale are the same principles that earn you a competitive job offer. So I evolved this once again. It's actually all about who knows you, likes you, and trusts you. I appreciate those who are writing this down. What sticks out about this? Give me one person. What sticks out about the difference between what's bold and the other two quotes? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Give me a hand. We're all friends here.
It kind of just indicates that the bold is like you actually made a professional connection, because that's how I treat a friend, someone who knows me, likes me, and trusts you. Whereas like like the black, it's all about who you know. That could be anyone. Like
Anybody,
it could be
right.
a LinkedIn connection, not send a note, whatever.
Yep.
That could be anyone.
Exactly. 100%. Did you raise your hand? Oh, nice. There's another.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that. Like,
Please do.
instead of just knowing someone, it's also important that you mentioned that they like you and they trust you, so that the connection you build is not just like surface level.
Mhm.
So a lot of times that can mean that the conversations you have aren't just strictly formal and business.
Right.
Sometimes you can go beyond that a little bit, and developing more of a personal connection,
Yes.
even in a business environment, can help you to have a more stronger connection.
Everyone hear that? Is this clicking? Is this starting to make sense at least? Anyone have no idea what we're saying? That this is not registering? It's okay. We'll pause. I appreciate what you both shared. Let's talk about it by the numbers. And what was your name, by the way? You were talking about referrals, right? What was your name?
Renika.
Renika? Okay. I want to talk about it by the numbers. I'll go through these a little bit fast. This is one of those, I think the deck will be sent out, that I teach a career management class here as an adjunct, and the students can't believe some of this stuff. And even the early and mid-career professionals that have been in the workplace forever, but they haven't interviewed in a while, I share some of these stats, and they're just like, this is no way. It's all to emphasize networking, everybody. When you apply to jobs, not through the co-op system that's organized and ready to go and A-round, and you're helped a lot by this amazing university. When you get in the real world, the reality is without networking, no networking whatsoever, when you just cold apply to jobs that you see on the job boards, you have about a 2% or less chance of landing an offer. Well, think about it, like Meta or Google, JP Morgan, all these companies that you're trying to work for, 10,000 applications and one gets it. 5 get interviews. You do the math. 1 in every 5 jobs, and a student actually just told me that maybe this is even more like 1 in every 3 of job postings out there, there's no intent to actually fill them. This is a crazy phenomenon that's going on right now. People are posting jobs to signal to investors, I am growing, I'm a growing company. And then you go through 7 interviews and you get to the end and they say, we're not actually hiring. Have a great day. It's insane. So 1 in every 5, maybe even 1 in every 4 jobs. Half of jobs are filled through referrals. And do you mind saying one more time, remind me your name?
Renika.
Renika, remind me and the group, whoever doesn't know, not everybody does, what a referral is.
When someone puts in a good word for you at a job.
And there's a formal process now. People get like compensated on this. It's crazy. I've worked for companies that say, if you get a referral, submitted for a referral, I'll pay you $5,000. Because people want to hire other people that they like and trust. There's so much value on referrals. 70% of jobs are not posted publicly, but are being filled. Every job you see online is part of this small 30% bucket that 90% of people are fighting over. Think about the numbers. 70% are not posted. They're invisible to everybody else. Everybody, this huge 90% of people are fighting over this small bucket. Meanwhile, you guys learning about networking and building connections are finding other ways in to get those referrals. Oh, I knew him. He knew me. He liked me and trusted me. He's working for the company I want to work for. Submits as our internal referral where 50% of jobs are filled. And now I landed an offer with a job that didn't even exist to the public. This stuff really happens. And if we had 2 hours, I would share all of the stories about people getting placed in jobs that were not on job boards. And in general, 80% of jobs are filled through some form of networking. Which stat speaks to you guys the most? I just want a couple of hands. I want to know what's resonating.
I think for me it would be the 70% not even public. Of course, you know that some jobs are just given out like that, friends from college,
Right.
Other stuff. But yeah, it's impressive that it's over 70%.
It's crazy. Again, one of those moments where I feel like the whole thing could close down. The fire alarm could go off, we could all run out, and I would say, you know what, at least they have some data to support how they might change their job search behaviors when they become full-time workers. How do I become more likable and trustworthy? And I want to talk about two key mindsets here. And it's the traditional one where most students, most people fall into this bucket. This is the traditional mindset versus the one I want you to adopt. What can I get from this conversation? Let me tell you about me. How quickly can this conversation benefit me? Anyone not eat meat? Maybe vegan, vegetarian, just don't eat meat, which is totally fine. Is there anyone in this room? Okay, awesome. What's your name? Ashka. Ashka? Okay. So we're at a networking event. I'm just playing on a situation. So I meet her, and I say, hi, nice to meet you. I own a chain of the best steakhouses in Philadelphia, and you have to try my ribeye and my New York strip steak. How do you think she feels when I came into that discussion and I just talked about me, when you guys all know the reality is she doesn't eat meat? How do you feel in that conversation when I made that assumption and I pushed my products on you and they weren't really for you? Not comfortable and confused. Anybody else? How would you feel? Someone assumes something, right? And look on this speed networking. Meet new clients. How do you know that they're your clients? You didn't ask any questions. You didn't learn anything about the other person. I just went in and said, try my ribeye. That's not a winning strategy. Asking questions, learning about the other person is a winning strategy. And that's why I'm here trying to tell you and push you to do what I know works, which is the relationship building mindset. What can I learn from this conversation? What can I give or share with this person? The long-term relationships are greater than these short-term transactions. If I asked Ashka, am I right? Okay. If I asked Ashka, great to meet you, you've been to any great restaurants lately? What kind of food do you enjoy? I would likely uncover her dietary choices, and I would not be pushing my ribeye steak on her. That makes for, ideally, a more comfortable conversation. Would you agree? Me asking and learning. In fact, what if I said, let me take this a step further, everybody. Instead, I say, I actually know the owner, Chris, of the best vegetarian restaurant in Philly. It's right by 15th and Market. You gotta go. We end our conversation, and she goes and she loves it. Next week, she's in her dorm room, and her friends who just got out of midterms are like, I am starved. I gotta get some food. And she knows that that friend eats meat in this example, and she says, well, I actually just met this dude, Mike. Seemed like a good guy. He actually has a bunch of steakhouses that he owns down in Center City. Now her friend goes to the steakhouse. Now, I didn't get the customer, meet new clients. I didn't get something in the first 30 seconds of me and Ashka talking. But did you see how learning and being someone that's likable and trustworthy ultimately leads to a new customer down the line through a referral? That's what I'm talking about here. This plays out in everyday conversation and in landing the most competitive jobs in the world. Am I making sense? Did that example sort of hit home at a high level what I'm trying to convey here? We got one person asleep, Chris.
Only one.
Yeah, I see you.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I mean, last hour was 9.
Yeah.
Doing pretty good.
Chris used to go up and down the aisles when I took his class freshman year, and like everyone would like hype it up, like, oh shit, he's going over to the person. And I used to like relish in those moments where you would tap them on the shoulder or say something really loud and wake them up. So guys, once you change your mindset from one of service for others, you actually end up receiving more than you ever could imagine in long-term relationships and job opportunities. I'm going to skip that for time. But how could I possibly know how to learn, share, help, add value to the other person I just met? Now, as a freshman, your value isn't your wealth of job experience yet. Your value is actually curiosity, it's effort, and it's follow-through. I'll explain and contextualize each of those things. What does being curious actually look like? How does it feel, sound, look? Let me get two people. Anyone who hasn't spoken yet? What's your name?
Raza.
What is it?
Raza.
Okay.
You, I guess, actively want to learn new things.
I like the word active. What would that look like? What would actively wanting to know? I'm going to go to someone else because that was a great word. And that actually is a winning conversation strategy. What does actively wanting to learn sound like?
It means that you're continually engaged. Like when you say something, like for example, relationship building, I
Sure.
gotta ask you, what does being curious be like? How do I get engaged more? And like, what can I do professionally to be engaged more? Like to be an active listener to you, for example.
Anyone else? This is huge. If you do just what he said, you're going to crush your networking conversations and really create meaningful opportunities for yourself. Yes, back. Asking questions. Let's talk about why questions are maybe the most valuable. I could have just named this questions, your most valuable career weapon. Because by doing so, I think it's become clear over time you build amazing connections with someone else. You become more likable and trustworthy. I want to talk about two forms of questions, the right and the wrong. And I know it will take practice. I know it's not going to feel easy right away. Anyone have any idea what a close-ended question versus an open-ended question might sound like?
Close-ended would be something you can answer with yes or no, whereas an open-ended is something that someone with experience can expand upon, give you good details and information.
Do you mind saying it louder? Because you can take over
So
the keynote here.
One is one that's answered with yes or no, whereas an open-ended is one that the person you're asking can expand upon.
You guys hear that in the back? Awesome. Just a switch from asking questions that yield a yes, no, a close, right? The conversation just stops versus a question that allows them to expand, right? And speak their mind and share. Think about how you feel in each of these instances. I'm trying to make this as practical as possible. So with your peers, and maybe you guys, some of you know each other in the front row, maybe you don't know one another. And I did close versus open-ended. You have 4 or 5 year?
I'm the first year. Oh, 5 years, sorry.
Conversation's over. He told me that he was a 5 year. Great. That's boring. Conversation is literally the close-ended is you're just closing the conversation before it truly even opened. What have you enjoyed so far about living on campus?
I've enjoyed the people I've been able to meet, how everything's very closely connected, and just the general vibe of campus overall, I'd say.
How has the vibe been?
It's been very inclusive, it's been very accommodating, it's very welcoming, and it's been easy to put myself out there.
Do you hear how, in one instance, the conversation was over and I don't think you liked me very much. And then in the second instance, I'm actually starting to learn about you and like what jives about Drexel's campus and what's clicking for you. Did everyone hear that exchange a little bit? By asking questions that start with the what or the how, why, dare I say, just tell me more about that. That's how you get the conversations going. Versus you have 4 or 5 year. Try this out when you go to the networking event tonight. That's my challenge for you. It's like, oh fuck, it's gonna be uncomfortable though. I've never done this before. I know. Prep for your networking conversations. Write down something like what or how and then write a question. Write a question and say, you know what, tonight I'm okay with tripping and falling. I'm just gonna try to ask, do what that dude said today in class. I'm just gonna try to ask a valuable question that might spark real dialogue, not this transactional BS forgettable conversation. I'm actually gonna skip to the employer, future co-op folks, future employers, and because I can't see all the way, I'm gonna turn around. But like, let's talk about the difference, everybody. Is your company hiring co-ops? Is there a recruiter I should connect with? 80% of people are gonna be, I'll say 90, are gonna be asking the close-ended. Because you don't have that muscle of the open-ended yet, guys. But I just want you to get in the head of a hiring manager. I do. Of the co-ops you've eventually hired full-time post-graduation, what qualities did those people most possess? I read your latest company report on AI in 2026. What stuck out to me was how much you emphasize human oversight alongside automation. How do you see that evolving as AI agents become more and more prevalent? Guys, honest question, who is more likely to get hired? Luke?
The open-ended one, because he's showing that he did his research before coming
100%.
with that whole AI conversation.
Yep.
And 2, he just sounds more sophisticated in the way he's talking. Like what qualities do these people possess? Like, more what he's adding character to his like conversation. He's like, how are these people like? As humans, what do they bring to the company?
Right.
And how do they make the company better because of their qualities?
Mm-hmm. Are you starting to see how asking excellent questions can and will definitely make you more likable, more trustworthy, and most certainly more hireable? Is this clicking? Could you be honest with me? Maybe by show of hands, I suppose. Is this resonating with everybody? Now, notice I didn't say, are you ready to get out there and ask 20 open-ended questions? No. But you have a 5-year runway of practice. And I want you to try to prep for a networking conversation like an event tonight. 2 questions, open-ended. Try them out. First person, you trip and you're like, oh, that didn't go very well. On to the next person. Isn't that how networking events go? Try it again. And half of you guys connected with me on LinkedIn, please do, right? Let's practice what I'm preaching here. Let me know how it went. You tried open-ended questions, and let me know how those conversations played out. Let's move to effort and follow-through. I'll do the peer lens and then the co-op employer lens. Because truthfully, guys, I was telling Chris about this beforehand. I was in a fraternity in college at Drexel, and in my freshman year, I was still trying to meet people. And a guy came in whatever dorm room I was hanging out in, and he invited me to one of those rush events for the fraternity. And I was like, sure, I mean, I guess I would love to meet some great people. And I went, and I joined the fraternity in 5 years. It was amazing. That same guy that came in, I was just shooting the breeze with him. He became a recruiter at a major recruiting firm called Michael Page in New York. It's much bigger. And when I transitioned from the advertising world into sales about 8 or 9 years ago, I hit him up, same guy, and was like, I see you're in recruiting. He connected me with a sales-specific recruiter who ended up connecting me with an employer who hired me for my first sales role. So the same guy who I was just building relationships and connections with in that freshman dorm room, he recruited me to a fraternity. I didn't realize that 7 years later, he would jumpstart a successful 8-year sales career of mine and be a real catalyst. All of it started through just shooting the breeze with people, asking good questions, building relationships. Is this continuing to set in, everybody? Any questions whatsoever? Thanks for the thumbs up, man. I appreciate you. Any questions whatsoever? Please. Yes.
So about the story that you just mentioned, when it came to, eventually like years after hitting up that guy, were you still close up until that point, like talking frequently, or was it your first time contacting him after so long? And if it was the latter, if it was your first time contacting him after a long time, how did you know of his position and the job that he held?
Yeah, I wish I had 40 minutes on this one. I love the question. I would say like close-ish. I think anybody you sort of spend a couple of years away from school, you lose contact just a little bit. But what about little things like liking someone's LinkedIn post? What about seeing it's someone's birthday and hitting them up and saying, happy birthday, dude? What about, it's been a while, do you want to grab coffee? Those little things that you might be able to do to keep the conversations warm. And so I would say, in addition to that, it's such a great question. Yeah, I got something. By asking great questions and being just like a connector, a relationship builder, like I know if I were to call or text 100 of my friends right now, even those I haven't talked to in years, I know personally, I'm not being cocky. I just feel that they would respond with a certain level of like excitement to re-engage, because the conversations that I always have with people, I want them to be memorable. And I really believe that when you ask great questions and you dive deep with people, depth of the conversation is equals serious connections. If you build serious connections with people, 2, 3, 5 years can go by, and you just saying hello to that person and they're like, hey, what's up? It really does work like that. Does that make sense? I want them to remember you as the person that they went deep with. I learned a lot about them. They told me a lot about themselves. So I really feel like this almost future-proofs your networking, where you don't have to set daily reminders to hit up your entire contact sheet. It's more doing this builds lasting connections, so that even if it is 2 years apart, that they'll be as excited to support you and you support them as you were even years prior. Does that make sense? Awesome. I'm going to go through the potential future co-op or full-time employers here. I guess I'll get a little closer here. I tried to do 3 scenarios for you guys and let's test my eyesight. I'm just going to turn around. I'm not going to strain my eyes. First networking conversation ever. So it's tonight and you learn something. Maybe you talk to David, talk about someone that's great to meet. Would it be okay with you if I followed up once I looked into what you mentioned? I'm going to write that down so I don't forget it. Do you see how this keeps the conversation going and it shows effort? Do you see what I'm saying here? Is it okay if I follow up? That means in a few weeks or a month or 3 months, following up, that person's like, oh, yeah, we did talk about that. And now I'm re-engaging with that person, keeping the conversation going, strengthening that connection. What about after meeting them previously? Last time we talked, you mentioned a skill that really matters in people that you hire after graduation. I just finished a LinkedIn Learning course on developing that very skill set. I'd love to share my biggest couple of takeaways with you. Do you see how that shows effort and follow through with someone that you met previously? Is this resonating? Do you see what I'm saying in the word share? You're adding value in all of these. What about an employer you interviewed with? This is one that doesn't get talked about enough, I think. Employer you interviewed with but didn't earn a co-op from. You're feeling rejected. You're feeling like I'm never going back. They didn't give me the offer. Well, you want to talk about networking that could yield success in the long term. Since we last spoke during the interview process last summer, I worked on a couple of class projects or did this, what's that called, the competition, the case competition, that directly built on the area you mentioned as an opportunity for growth. I'd love to grab coffee and chat a little bit more about that and pick your brain on how things have been going for you in 2026. How much more hireable do you think that person becomes using the rejection and turning it into an opportunity to build a connection? I appreciate those that are nodding, and I genuinely am asking because I'm only here to add value to your worlds, guys. Like, is that something you think you might be able to do once you sit with this and think about it and maybe practice? Can I at least get some hands or awesome. I appreciate it. Chris, how are we doing on time? Because I just want to show that last slide to have them connect.
So why don't you guys open up Blackboard? You know we have our quick poll. So the question for today, the answer is loan. L-O-A-N. Like, I have a student loan. Loan. L-O-A-N is the word for today. Like, regretfully, I have a car loan. And back to Mike for the last 2 minutes. So lock in for this. This is arguably some of the most important stuff.
Real quick, thanks for staying with me. I know that oftentimes, I spoke a lot about long-term relationship building, and I hope things clicked. I hope you're leaving with some strategies and some thoughts, but I really am fully aware that you might be thinking, yeah, but A round's coming up. And that need mindset comes up, and like, what do I say if I'm trying to network with someone and there actually is an open job and I really want it? There's an A round job that I want. The reason I want you to scan this QR code is I made like an ebook I'm really proud of that's all about cold networking. Like, I don't know that person, but I know they could influence my hiring. And if I learn and adopt some of the strategies for outreaching that person, introducing myself, communicating my value, and asking for some time, that I can actually end up going to the top of that pile for A round. And so I built a whole ebook around cold outreach, meeting strangers and turning them into referrals. All the things have really, really worked for me and the clients that I serve. And I have hard examples of it working in practice. So please scan that if you're interested in learning how to turn complete strangers into referrals. And then one more QR code. Again, this will be sent out. One more as class wraps up is, guys, I want you to put this into practice, all this work into practice today. There's a Google Sheet at the end of this QR code. My ask, I won't follow up about your homework, but my ask is that you scan this because on it is very simple. First name, last name, LinkedIn. A lot of you connected with me. I appreciate that. I want you all to connect with one another. At the end of this week, there will be probably 200 to 300 people on this sheet. Just first, last, LinkedIn. You could do your email, whatever you want to do. Think about it, guys. At the end of your college career, each of the people in this room are going to grow their connections by 200, 300, 400 individuals. These people, like I used my Michael Page story, are going to become your future colleagues, future recruiters to your jobs, future bosses. I want you to connect with everyone and start the process of networking in the ways that we talked about today. So I hope this has been really valuable. Please connect with me, and great being here, everybody. Thank you. Absolutely, dude, great to meet you. Thanks for sitting front row. Absolutely. Michael, I should have asked.
I'm out of personalized LinkedIn invitations, but I'll add you later tonight.
Do it.
Probably.
Do it. Awesome.
No,
Dude,
I'll send it again once they're given back to me.
Incredible. Yeah,
Dude,
dude,
you're definitely one of the best speakers.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
good.
Happy to help anytime. Please connect with me on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
That's right. That's where it all starts.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
You guys have been great.
so
Thanks for
much.
sitting front
thank you.
row.
Rest of your day.
Absolutely. You too. What's going on?
Cameron Choi. You're
Nice to meet you. Yes.
I just wanted to know, is it possible to possibly connect this week or weekend and just zoom out for like 5 minutes, right? Just talk about connections. I really want to learn more about connections. Is that all right with you?
Great, and great job communicating that. You knew that I didn't have a lot of time to talk. You knew you were in line, and you just asked. You made the ask. And I appreciate also about this is that you said 5 minutes. You kept it quick, and I'm way more likely, me and anyone else that you network with, to say yes. because I'm busy,
But also,
Chris
like,
is busy, and so yes, 100% I'd love to connect with you. Your strategy of coming right to the point, saying what I want to learn, how long it will take, made me say yes instantly. So yes, I'd love to meet up and let's talk about it.
Great, thank you.
Remind me your name one more time.
Cameron.
Cameron?
If I wasn't dying,
Great to
I'll
meet
connect
you.
you on LinkedIn.
Please do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. What's going on?
It was Zaki. I really enjoyed this. I liked what you brought up about changing the mindset, basically changing your behavioral patterns, and that changes the results.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you that.
Oh, thank you.
Looking forward to hopefully connecting with you, maybe keeping in touch with some results and stuff that happen.
Keep me updated
putting
how
this
things are
into
going.
action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I loved your question. I seriously could have talked about it for like an hour. And it's just like, if you want, set a reminder on a calendar to connect with that person, touch base every few months. It doesn't always have to be a big formal coffee date, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can just be, hey, what's going on? Saw you, a cool post that you made the other day, or I just finished that case competition and I won. Cool, now I'm reconnected with you. I'm keeping the fire burning, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly. And I mean, just about everything that you mentioned, I feel like it's very, very applicable
Awesome.
to just real life. I just wanted to thank you
Yeah,
again for that. I really
absolutely.
appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks
Thank you.
for great questions.
Hi,
Hey,
I'm David.
dude,
I don't
that-
want to shake your hand because I was the guy dying in that corner.
You were
over
dying in the
there,
corner.
so
All
I
right,
was
all
like-
right,
so I didn't wanna
absolutely.
shake
Yeah,
your hand
no-
in case
no
anything
sweat.
happens, but I really enjoyed your presentation. I thought it was like very engaging in the sense that explaining like how relationships work, because it's
Yeah.
more than just like I'm gonna send a LinkedIn connection to everyone here and then see where it gets us. It's a little bit more than that.
Do you
In a
feel
lot
like
of
you
areas.
could handle yourself in a conversation just a little bit better after today?
Yeah, I think that it elaborated on a lot of the things that I already try and implement, and so
Great.
I think it's like trying to get me to that next
Yes.
level in terms of conversation.
Exactly. And you got, like I said, man, you got 5-year runway to do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, amazing.
And I really appreciated that, so I wanted to thank you. But I also wanted to ask, like, how did you find your passion in that sense? Because it's one thing to be good in a conversation and like try and use that for networking. It's another to make a career out of it. So I was wondering how you managed that transition, especially since you started talking about your sales background in the presentation.
Yeah. This could be a long discussion, and I fear that I'm interjecting on his.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I pack up and maybe we can talk? Anyone, by the way, I really appreciate saying hi to you guys. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm so grateful for this. I'm feeling the pressure of he might share a slide deck and I'm in his way. I'm doing this again. I'm talking to the next class in like 2 minutes, so I'm gonna go there now. But can you guys please hit me up on LinkedIn, right? That's what networking is about. So please hit me up. I wanna message me on LinkedIn. Throw me a connect. I'll accept on my drive, but I'm gonna get kicked out, and I'm just grateful for you to even come up to me, and I'll remember all of your faces. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you.